The saddest video I have to do about my own South Africa. It is sad and shameful, so disturbing, that after watching the video last night, all I could go with or sleep with was a gasp and a coil in despair in my bed. The president of South Africa embarrassed all of South Africa and Africa as a whole in one public meeting with President of America, Trump. He became a schoolboy to a school principal who is Trump. And this is the best we have in Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Cyril Ramaphosa is from the supposed most developed country and the largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa. And this is what we got yesterday in a meeting with him and the president of America. After all the talking tough around BRIC nations meetings, this is how sober he became in the White House. What a shame, ladies and gentlemen. This is the true definition of shame. And I think I can now understand why Julius Malema has been so harsh on him, not just him, and all the leadership coming from the ANC party over the years. I am going to play a part of the video for your viewing, and I need you to watch his body language and how calm he was in trying to entice the US government to come to his aid in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cyrus from Ghana, and this is Tuntum Network. On this platform, I do my independent research in subjects of interest and share my findings with all. Now, let's see the video and break it down each step of the way. Let's go.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
been utilized. The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently, and you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it.
But coming back to this issue, which I really would like us to talk about, and talk about it very calmly. We were taught by Nelson Mandela that whenever there are problems, people need to sit down around a table and talk about them.
Well, there are problems.
And this is precisely what we would also like to talk about, including, of course, trade matters, investment matters. So the issues that concern you as the United States,
those are all recent. Those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner of South Africa, and you are raising concerns, and these are concerns that we are willing to talk to you about. Let me just add quickly, you know, the criminality that we are experiencing in our country needs quite a lot of technological capability. And in one of our areas in South Africa, we're using US technology, which is able to, in many ways, identify where shootings are happening and all that. And I'd like to talk about that.
This video happened yesterday, 21st of May, 2025. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa went to meet President Trump of America over a cry by white farmers in South Africa seeking asylum in America. This was because there is a lot of murders happening in South Africa, which I've actually done a video about it, and which happens to take many of the white farmers' lives just as much as the black people in South Africa. So Trump granted the first group of white South African farmers their request of asylum, and then Trump turned the heat on the South African president yesterday in that meeting. So Ramaphosa flies to the White House, meets Trump, and sits with him, and Trump puts him on the same scrutiny like he did Zelensky in the eyes of the public. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I started getting furious. Ramaphosa sat there with no answers at all. He sat there and got drilled by Trump, and all he had was to play the game of equalization. Trump insists you allow them to take lands and kill farmers and nothing happens to them. Trump said this. And Ramaphosa's response was, no. In fact, we have more blacks dying due to the killings than the white South African farmers. As though the black South Africans' lives didn't matter as much as the white South African. You had to throw in the deaths of your own people to make Trump feel it's not a targeted thing. But you forgot that in the same way, you sounded as though the blacks are dying even the more, so it's okay. So, Mr. Ramaphosa, why have you been the leader of South Africa till now? Why do you run for office when the numbers of crimes since you took over is still the same? You clearly looked clueless and came off as a man with no solutions to the crime problems. The issues of crime in South Africa has never been about the lack of technology to fight these crimes, but the political will to pursue after criminals. That would have been acceptable for a country like the Congo. Your lenience with criminals echoes everywhere in the world. This is South Africa we are talking about. You allow for these things so you don't offend your partisan base. Those are the same people who come out to vote for you whenever there is elections, and so you wouldn't want to interfere in their businesses. That's one of the source of the problem, and I'll give the rest later. When a person commits crime and easily gets away with it after a few months or years behind bars, what message do you think it leaves out there to the public? My own friend in South Africa was gunned down and not even an investigation was started because nobody ever put you to the wire about the deaths of black people in South Africa. Nobody really questioned you like Trump was doing. You never took it seriously. Now you are being checked on the lives of white people in South Africa. You are throwing in the deaths of black people to equalize the whole thing. Does this make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Do we elect leaders to solve problems or to point to other instances to justify their lack of performance? There is zero hope in these types of leadership all across Africa. I'll tell you, if the president of the best and most powerful black African country is acting this way towards a world leader, how have our own president from our small African countries acted when they go there to meet these powerful presidents in the world? I love every bit of what Trump is doing in terms of bringing the cameras in to put all these people on the spot, because most times we have zero idea what these so-called heads of states of Africa actually say there when they meet them. This now makes me wonder, when these African leaders meet world leaders, whether from America, China, Russia, or anywhere in Europe, what actually transpires in these meetings? Because I'm tempted to believe they go there hoping to kiss their butts, shine their shoes, and help them with their laundry. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm wrong. We are very fortunate to have a president like Trump to expose all these weak and soft politicians who happen to be in a position of leadership in Africa. What has been your plan, Mr. President of South Africa, to curb the crime rate in South Africa? South Africa has everything it takes to take care of its internal problems. This is not even about external or territorial matters. It's internal, and you are seeking help from America. This is a joke, Mr. President. Do you know a country called El Salvador, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know their president, Bukele? Did you know they were in a worse criminal situation than South Africa was in 7 years ago? And do you know the same El Salvador is now the safest country in all of Northern and Southern America, only behind Canada? How did he, one man, achieve it? For a president who took over at age 37 and was surrounded by hardcore gangs and ritualists across the country of El Salvador. How did he do it? The same America, led by Joe Biden at the time, castigated President Bukele of El Salvador for his approach towards bringing order in his country. But today, this same America under Trump just invited him and even struck a prison deal with him for his excellence approach, which is proven effective. Ladies and gentlemen, what are our leaders doing? Your problem is, even if the best solutions are gifted to you, Mr. Ramaphosa, you cannot implement them for many partisan reasons. You have just handed over South Africa to America. You have just done that. Did you see what Trump did the moment Ramaphosa mentioned that they need America to help them with their crime situation? Ladies and gentlemen, watch Trump's body gesture in this video.
Because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these acts of criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here as a partner so that we can help each other whenever there are challenges.
Exactly. Trump smelled blood in the water. He knew he had to just apply a little bit of force to get you trapped. Trump is the best negotiator I've seen on live TV. And I know he will eat South Africa alive when the cameras aren't watching in a negotiation. He is going to help you with what you are asking for in exchange for something priceless from South Africa. Trust me. People like Trump is the kind of guys you like to have on your team and hate to see him on other teams. He's gonna be making serious demands for essential minerals in South Africa moving forward. You thought the white South Africans had captured the lands in South Africa? Wait till Trump concludes on his negotiations with Cyril Ramaphosa. The details will definitely come out, ladies and gentlemen. See how Trump has negotiated the minerals of the DRC over protection. African leaders are so weak and clueless, it hurts to watch them open their mouths and talk. This is the same Ramaphosa who talks tough when he meets the BRICS nations. What a joke. I'm sure Putin is sitting in his Kremlin saying to himself, I knew it, while shaking his head. I wonder what President Xi Jinping of China is thinking about your performance in America. Ramaphosa, I wonder what Xi is thinking. I'm very curious to know whether the big countries in the BRICS nations weren't able to assist you with the fight against crime in your country. Putin has successfully tamed Russia. Did you ask Putin for help in combating crime? China is successful at keeping its country in a very peaceful state, no matter what the media is telling you. Did you discuss this assistance with the Chinese government, your friend Xi Jinping? Did you seek technology from China to help you? The games he's playing is very confusing at this point. And I always say to people, when you see a best friend in a talking relationship with your sworn enemy, always remember you had two enemies all along. One was always known and the other just got known. Where are the men of Africa with ideas and solutions? Why have cowards taken over in politics and brave men watching them on television from home? President Ramaphosa needs to allow for a new leadership in South Africa. People with a commitment to face crime head on and crush it from the very root. These are the people we are looking for. Too many guns in circulation in South Africa. Too many unpunished crimes in South Africa. Too many cases of them. Too many undocumented immigrants in South Africa. These are the places to look. Mr. President, you have to check these places. Put the police to work. The CCTV cameras in your country must work and not be stolen. The thieves who consistently steal these cameras must receive severe punishment. Ask your friend Xi Jinping of China about what he does to people who steal state properties. Crime should be unpalatable at all levels. Put the immigration to work. Enlarge your prisons like President of El Salvador did. Don't waste time on the rights of murderers who have taken the lives of other people. Be strong and be about the business of your country, South Africa. You are too busy indulging in the business of the world. It's enough, Mr. President. Take care of your home first. Be about South Africa. Do what you have to do to repair the reputation of South Africa on the global scale. Africa must solve its own problems. This idea of running to the West must cease. We are capable of solving our own problems. Learn to lead and not to preside. The wind of change is blowing, and it won't stop until we see a real sustainable change. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll end it here. Thanks for your time, and hope you subscribe to push our videos. God bless Africa.
Ano kwamo mienka na awodi nipa pina ekwa tete mu pao amani pampempema wale agu odia sampa spiritual and herbal center awo wo mo yade se wo mbem wanya basisi a yade bi tise stroke gonorrhea anabama waye mre e wampamu low sperm count wo mo wano aduro tatahwe ene gisem ne se seba ne sunsumu nsem a wo mo tenete se ye sunsumu aware anasa yare bi ne yade amawo pampabone anabo ana wanya abai amane e court case wo betu charge osisi a enam omadwuma panti ni pampempem ene be fo kofie ekoye sunsumu nyuma edemom se mosini ene enzimani akabom dia sunsumu niama asie betu obi age wukunu anasa woyere awaresem adwumasem akwantuom nsem ni nyina ayasumasem fa bedan odia sampa spiritual and herbal center obehu yan
New Koforidua ejoso ne konongo infinfin aye Ashanti region ehon ma number aye didi dwuma no aye 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421.
Odia Sampa Spiritual and Herbal Center. You be do us some amount.